Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. Founded on science and inspired by nature, all Bon Charge products adopt ancestral ways of living in our modern-day world. Their extensive range of premium wellness products help you sleep better, perform better, have more energy, recover faster, balance hormones, reduce inflammation. The list is truly endless. Bon Charge ships worldwide and in rapid time. They have free shipping on every sauna blanket. They have no hidden costs. They have really easy returns and exchanges. They have a 30-day trial. They have a 12-month warranty. Truly, they just have thought of everything. So if you want to try a infrared sauna blanket or any other product that Bon Charge offers, then go to boncharge.com/manifest and use coupon code manifest to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/manifest and use coupon code manifest to save 15%. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't actually to search at all. And that's why I match with Indeed. If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Indeed is the matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So ditch the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so that you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/manifest. Just go to Indeed.com/manifest right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/manifest. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Welcome back to another episode of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. I'm your host, Tori DeSimone, and this is a bonus episode of Manifest. I love bonus episodes. I'm so excited to do a Q&A today, catch up with the girls, and just have some fun chatting with you guys. We are talking about all the things, and I'm really excited. I kind of want to jump right into it, but I also just want to explain the morning that I just had. Okay, so I have been go since I opened my studios down here in Sea Isle and Avalon, which has been so much fun, so crazy, so busy. I'm just so grateful. It's just been so wonderful, if I'm being honest. And today it's the weekend after Memorial Day. So you guys are listening to this on Thursday, the 30th. I'm recording it the 29th, so the day before. So it's the week after Memorial Day. Down here at the shore, this week is always really nice and really calm. And it's just a really, really nice week down here because all the businesses are open for the most part. And the weather this week has been absolutely beautiful. And it's always a good week for me to reset, catch my breath a little bit, gather my bearings, and just take control back, right? So last night I planned out my whole morning, and I've been really trying to get very grounded in the mornings. I made a whole episode about grounding last week, or I guess on Monday. I'll link it below. But I've been really trying to get grounded. So I did exactly that. I woke up at 5 this morning. I walked to the beach, watched the sunset on the beach, which was incredible. Literally, I was actually crying. It was just so beautiful. And I was barefoot and just really getting, the grounding. And it just felt so wonderful. And then I brought my running shoes with me and I went for a 20-minute run afterwards. And it was just such a great start to the day. And I did all of this by 6:15. I didn't have to be at the studios until 7. It was just so great. And I get to the studios and I'm having such a great day. Nothing is fazing me. I'm just going to have the best day ever. And this was a day, I have a lot of podcasts. I'm recording 4 podcasts today. This is the first of 4. So I'm recording a lot of podcasting today. So I'm I need to get a head start, which means I can't really be at the studios this morning. So we're going to get in, we're going to get out, do what I have to do, and then begin podcasting for the day. So I'm on my way out of the studio. Everything's going great. I get a call. One of my instructors gets a stomach bug, needs a last minute sub. No worries. We can handle it. We get it all figured out. all is good. And literally the whole time I'm like so calm. I feel like had this been like yesterday and I didn't do my whole little grounding morning routine, I would have been kind of panicked. But today I was like, I'm not worried. I know it's going to work out. And it did. It always does. Felt great about it. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Like, this morning routine really has like some, there's something to it that like made me feel really grounded this morning. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Well, then I opened my laptop to send an email, and I have like, those sales emails that you get of, this one happened to be from like a wellness network that wanted to partner with Stride, which is fantastic. They sent the email Thursday of Memorial Day weekend, and I'm like, okay, I will get to this honestly on like Friday, like a week later, because I don't really have admin time until like Friday for real. It's been pretty crazy. And like I said, I'm podcasting all day. I don't have time for admin today. I won't have time for admin tomorrow. I will get to it Friday. So I send it to my personal email so that I can get to it on Friday. And it's such a great opportunity for Stride. I'm like, I definitely want to do it. Well, today I open up my email to the most aggressive follow-up email I've ever read. It was like, I have been directed like so many times of people wanting to partner with Stride, hence why I'm calling you. If you wouldn't mind just calling me back, it has zero cost to you. And it's just like such an aggressive follow-up email that I was like, you know what? I'm not angry at this email, but I'm also not going to let them speak to me like this. So I wrote back and I was like, hi, I have every intention of scheduling a call with you, but it's a few days after Memorial Day weekend. You sent the email the night of a holiday weekend, and I'm just getting around to it. I will schedule a call in my working hours, but could you please not send an aggressive follow-up email? Thank you. Like, the audacity. I get it. But you guys are my friends and I'm venting to you now. I just find it so funny that all day, like all morning, I'm like, I'm having such a great morning. And then like a little like hiccup arises. I'm like, this is wonderful. Like, don't even worry about it. Everything worked out. It always does. And then the one thing that I'm like not even pissed off at, but I'm like, I'm going to let them know that they can't send me an aggressive follow-up email like that. Especially when you want a service from me. It's like, I didn't reach out to you first. And then you want a service from me. You're going to be nice about it when you do the follow-up. Please. It's like, honestly, the least I could ask for here. Just be a little kind. Anyway, I just thought that was a funny story and I wanted to tell you guys. So if for whatever reason that guy is listening to this podcast, just be nicer in your follow-up emails, man. I'm planning on scheduling a call with you, but I don't know, that email might have made me not want to anymore. Anyway, happy Manifest Thursday. Because it's bonus episode Thursday. I posted on my Instagram at @ToriSterling_ a Q&A. We haven't done a Q&A in quite some time, and I wanted to do it. And I recently dropped some tea on my YouTube channel, and I had a feeling you guys would ask about it. So we will definitely get into that. We'll talk about that a little bit today, amongst other things, and I'm really excited. So let's just dive right in and get to it. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of themes. Whoa, I just like lost my voice. There's definitely a lot of themes going on in the questions. So I'm going to kind of group a few together. Okay, the first one is, and this is fitting because I just talked about this. How is casual running going? I just ran my first marathon and I think I prefer running for fun. First of all, hi Leah. It's so good to hear you in my inbox. And Leah is a Manifest listener and she was also at Stride's opening. And that just made my whole day to meet her and then to see her in my inbox. So hi Leah. Okay, how's casual running going? First of all, congratulations on running your marathon. Such a huge accomplishment, and that's it's so incredible that you ran a marathon. So I hope you're incredibly proud of yourself. Casual running is going fantastic. Today I ran for 20 minutes. That's like pretty much all the time that I had this morning to go for a run. I gave myself 30 minutes and by 15 minutes I was like, I think I'm like ready to be done. And I just went back home and it was wonderful. It has been really, really nice just running to run. I was saying this in a YouTube video a few weeks back, but when I would run, I was always training for something, whether it was a half marathon or a full marathon, or in Philly, there's a 10-mile race called Broad Street. So I'd be training for the Broad Street run, something like that. And it was always just like there was always a chore and a motive with running. And it was never something that I just went out and did for fun. Even when I was younger, I ran cross country. And, I just never did it for fun. And then when I would run in workouts, it was always as a warm up to another workout. So it was always just something incorporated into a workout or something that I was training for. So since switching to a running for fun mentality or running because it's meditative, it's totally changed the game for me. And I have to say, I really love it. I'll tell you what this morning's run was like. I have my watch on just because I'm trying to hit 10,000 steps every day. So obviously that counts when I run. So I had my watch on and I also wanted to just keep track of the time. I didn't bring my phone with me this morning and I was on my run and my pace was a 12-minute mile pace. So I'm not running fast. I'm not going anywhere. And it was really nice just to be so leisurely and just so like when I would get tired or out of breath, I would just really slow down and be like, where am I in a rush to go? Really, like, where am I in a rush to be? The only place I need to be is where my feet are in this moment. And that was so reassuring that I didn't have a split to hit. I didn't have a distance to hit. I didn't have a time to hit. I just listened to my body and my breath, and I let that be the fuel of my run. And it was really, really cool. I was focusing on my breathing and I was just looking at the beauty around me, and that was enough. And every time I got out of breath, I would just say to myself, like, where am I in a rush to go? Slow down. There's nowhere to be other than right here. And it was really, really nice. It was really wonderful. I had such a good time and I really enjoyed it. So if you are someone that wants to get into running and it looks daunting online, it is daunting online because you see people running at like 7-8 minute miles, which is a really fast mile time. Like I'm running the 12s today and it felt really nice. And just a reminder of where am I in a rush to be? And yoga taught me that too. I feel like in yoga I'm always in one pose waiting to go to the next. But it's about being in the pose, right? Being with the breath, being with the body. And running and yoga are so similar in that aspect where running provides solitude and meditation. Yoga for me provides solitude and meditation. The similarity being that I'm focused on the breath, and that is where it becomes such a meditative practice for me, and that I really enjoy about it. So, since turning off the race mentality and turning on this is for solitude, this is for meditation, I've really begun to enjoy running again and I just slow down. I saw a girl post a TikTok. She went out for a run and she was like, I'm just going to run and see what happens. She ended up running a half marathon, which is such a cool thing to just go out and run a half marathon. Super cool of her. But she was like, the pace that I'm at, it's like if you're in a parking lot and someone's letting you go and you do that light jog to get across the street so you're not holding up traffic, that's like the pace that she was running at. And I thought that was such a great description because it's true. Like that's the pace. Like it's just a jog. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm just being leisurely with it. And it's been really, really nice. And I've been really enjoying it. So thank you for asking. Congratulations again on your marathon. And I agree. If you like running for fun, then run for fun. You never have to sign up for a race if you don't want to. I think races can be fun, but you never have to, and you don't have to have the pressure behind running ever. Okay, the next question. How do you relax/decompress if the norm isn't doing it for you? I think this is a really great question. So, some things that I like to do to relax and decompress is like scroll on my phone, which I hate saying that, but it is the truth. Like I like to just kind of rot a little bit. Um, I also like to go for a walk. I definitely have my things that I like to do that decompress me and chill me out. But there definitely are days when those activities aren't doing it for me and I still feel wired or I still feel stressed, anxious, things like that. In those moments, the things that help me the most is distancing myself from myself. It's almost like a detachment of self. And there's a few ways that I do this. Number one is I get outside. That's the best thing for me to do. When I go outside, I immediately am pulled away from my phone, what's going on in my head, because that's really what it is, right? Like it's what's going on in our heads. We tend to, I shouldn't say we, because I do, and I don't want to project this onto you. I tend to catastrophize things in my head and make the worst of things, and then I believe them to be true. That's kind of like how my anxiety shows up for me. So when I get really anxious about something and I can't relax, I can't decompress, going outside and putting distance, especially between myself and my phone, but also just distance between my environment helps a ton. Going outside, going for a walk, even if it's just walking the dog or walking around the block, something like that really, really helps. Now, on the flip side, when I come back from the walk, if I go immediately back into a space where I was before, where I was having, trouble decompressing, such as my room, like if I'm in my room all day and I need to escape this mindset that I've created, I go outside for a walk, I return back into my room. My room can kind of trigger those thoughts coming back up. So I find it really helpful to change the air, which is another thing that I was recently talking about on YouTube. And a viewer from Germany said that they also do this in Germany, which I love that you guys like tell me about the world. I think it's really cool. But she was saying too how they do this in Germany, where you change out the air. And it really does help. So before you go for a walk or put distance between yourself and the stress, lift up your windows, open up a door, put on a fan, light a candle, like change the air out in your environment and walk in. Something that I even did yesterday on my TV. I love putting soundscapes from YouTube up on my TV, and I put that on and I was just like teleported somewhere else. I don't know what exactly it was, but it was a really calming, like tranquil soundscape, and it was really, really nice. And just returning back into a new environment, even if it's the same room, you can make the vibe feel different, right? With the windows up, a candle lit, a new scent, new music playing, something like that to just turn over the air, turn over the mood, turn over the environment, I think is really helpful. Another thing that I really like to do to decompress when the normal isn't working is to do something that I don't always do. So listening to a new podcast. I love listening to, I always say trashy podcasts, but they're not trashy. They're just like mindless and it's just an escape of the mind. So I'll just turn on a podcast or a fiction audiobook and just get kind of lost into a story that isn't my own life. And that really helps too. Just decompress, bringing the vibe back to something else that isn't me, and just like remembering it's not always about me is also just really, really nice. So that helps. Sometimes journaling, I say sometimes journaling can help because most of the time it does, but there are some times where I will spiral and really journal a lot and really dissect things. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm in a rabbit hole. How did I get here and how do I get out? So journaling helps, but only if I'm like able to if I'm in the mindset to process what's going on, I will journal. Otherwise, I'll kind of just speak it or compartmentalize it, listen to a podcast, an audiobook, watch a YouTube video, things like that, and then revisit whatever the stress is later on when I'm not stressed and I can think clearly through the problem. And then I'll tend to journal about it or speak through with a friend or my mom or something like that, or my therapist. So those are my tips. I hope that helps. But that's something that I found to be really helpful. I find that taking a nap, for example, does not help, because then I just wake up and everything's the same. The only thing is now I feel like an hour or two behind, and that actually is worse for me. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. Founded on science and inspired by nature, all Bon Charge products adopt ancestral ways of living in our modern-day world. Their extensive range of premium wellness products help you sleep better, perform better, have more energy, recover faster, balance hormones, reduce inflammation. The list is truly endless. From blue light glasses to red light therapy to EMF management and circadian friendly lighting, Bon Charge products will help you naturally address the issues of our modern day way of life effortlessly and with maximum impact. Without a doubt, my favorite product from Bon Charge is the infrared sauna blanket. I love to sauna, but the issue is, now that I'm down at the beach, I am nowhere near a sauna. Like, for real. There's simply not one to exist down here at the Jersey Shore. I'm sure that there is, but it's nowhere near me. And it's also not something that I want to pay a membership to go sit in the sauna. So I've been really missing my sauna fix, but because of the infrared sauna blanket, I can now bring the sauna to me in a really space effective way, and it gives me all the same benefits, and I'm obsessed. So the way that the sauna blanket works is, number one, it's not the actual size of like a sauna, it's a blanket. So I get to plug it in. Heats up really quickly. I get in, my head stays above the sauna blanket, so my head's out of it, so I can stay in it a lot longer, and I'll watch TV. Like, I'll watch a YouTube video or Summer House or just something, and I get all the benefits of sauning in my own house at the shore, and it's incredible. I like to do it at night, so I feel really stress-free. I sleep a lot better. It's so nice. I can stay in it for like 40 minutes, which is a really long time, and I love it. It's really easy to clean. It's super lightweight. It's small. I just love it. Bon Charge ships worldwide and in rapid time. They have free shipping on every sauna blanket. They have no hidden costs. They have really easy returns and exchanges. They have a 30-day trial. They have a 12-month warranty. Truly, they just have thought of everything. So if you want to try a infrared sauna blanket or any other product that Bon Charge offers, then go to boncharge.com/manifest and use coupon code manifest to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/manifest and use coupon code manifest to save 15%. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't actually to search at all. And that's why I match with Indeed. If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Indeed is the matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So ditch the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so that you can connect with candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. What I love about Indeed is that I can search for exactly what it is that I'm looking for, and they will find me the perfect candidate within minutes, seconds even, of posting my job listing. And then the hardest part of my job is now finding someone, because everyone is overly qualified. And I want to make sure I hire like all the right people, but everyone is so good that comes my way. So I've always loved working with Indeed, and it's been wonderful. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more that you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/manifest. Just go to Indeed.com/manifest right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/manifest. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, the next question is, do you have any advice for not comparing yourself to friends who are in a different stage of life, slash, meaning like married with kids? Okay, yes. So I have 26 is so strange because I have friends that are single, in the streets, just like living their best life, dating, like just doing everything, having the time of their life, and they love it. I have friends that are like me that are in long term relationships and are going to be eventually progressing to the next steps in the relationship when it's ready for them. And that's great. And then I have other friends that are engaged and they are loving it and it's like the best thing ever. Love that. I have friends that are married and they love that and it's great for them. Awesome. And then I have a few friends that have kids. And what's so cool is that everyone is in a different stage of life, but it's easy to compare your life to someone else's. But I think what we all just need to remember is that everyone is truly on their own timeline. Now, on my podcast with my mom called Let Me Call My Mom, we actually did a whole episode about advice from my mom, who's in her 50s, to people in their 20s, because the 20s are the analogy that I always like to hear is they're the dressing room of your life. We see everyone in different stages of life and think that we're behind or maybe we're ahead or we're right on track. I feel like typically, though, people always think that they are behind. And not only do we have our friends to compare ourselves to, but now we also have the factor of social media to compare ourselves to. And if there's any advice that I can give, and a lot of this advice was given from my mom, is that we don't know what's ahead of us in life. And your timeline is never going to look like anyone else's. And there is such beauty in that. Your experiences of life are going to look different than your friends, than your social circles, than what you see on social media. And there's beauty to that. So while you might feel behind, whether it comes to a relationship or a career or living with your parents or wanting to move out or buying a house, like whatever it might be, know that your time is coming. And kind of like back with what I was saying on the run this morning, it's like, what's the rush and where am I in a rush to go? Life is long, and thank goodness it's long, because there's so much life to be had that you don't have to have it all figured out in your 20s or even in your 30s. Like, you have the time, and just because your timeline isn't someone else's doesn't mean it's wrong. They're living their life according to them, and you're living your life according to you. And something my mom said that was impactful, she was talking about finding a partner, for example. She was like, finding a partner is something that is important because this is someone that you're sharing your life with, and you only get to do life once. So finding the time to actually find a partner that works for you and doesn't just suit the timeline of we're at the right age, so like maybe we should get engaged, is beneficial to really explore and to make sure that this is the right person for you, or this house is the right place for you to be at this time, or this career is the right opportunity for you, or things like that. There's no timeline. There's no like boogeyman that's going to come get you if you don't have a career by the time you're 25. Like, everything's going to be okay. And it's easy to compare, but just remember that your life experience is unique to you. And I think that is really beautiful. Okay, moving on. Let's see. What do we like here? You guys asked a lot of really good questions. How do you feel about going into this summer? I'm really excited to watch you and Stride thrive. Thank you, Amanda. I'm really feeling good about going into the summer, especially after this morning. I'm not even kidding. Like having this morning routine today where I was like, I'm going to take it slow and be super grounded and wake up early. I've just felt incredible and on cloud nine ever since. This summer, I really want to stay grounded and true to myself. Last summer, I was super on the go, always waking up with chaotic energy. This year, I'm not doing that. And it took a toll on my body and my mental last year. I felt like I've been in fight or flight since Memorial Day last year. And I'm really trying to use this summer to reverse that. And there's a few ways that I'm doing that. Number one, I was able to hire a studio manager, which has been wonderful. She's taken a lot of things off of my plate and it's been fantastic. So there's that. The second thing is I made a class schedule that is not only suited to like my clients, but also suited to me, meaning the earliest my staff now goes in is 7 a.m. So I know that if I can give myself from 5 to 7 a.m. of those 2 hours of uninterrupted time, I'm always going to have a good morning because no one needs me until 7 a.m. That's been really, really nice. And also the clients really like it. The clients like later classes that's what I've learned. I've been doing this for 5 years and now that's like finally what I learned. Another thing that I'm really working on is finding hobbies outside of Stride and outside of work. Like yesterday, we went on the boat during the day. That was really, really nice. So there's definitely just been things that I'm doing to rewire my brain of like, okay, last summer I felt really chaotic and on the go and exhausted all the time. So what can I do this summer to undo what I did last summer and find myself again and reconnect with myself? So that's been really nice. So I'm really looking forward to the summer and getting down to the beach a lot more. I mean, I'm at the beach, but like physically going onto the beach and relaxing during the day is something that I wanted to do. Okay, let's talk about my relationship because I've been getting a lot of questions about that. So pretty much just along the lines of how did you know it was a good idea to get back with your ex-boyfriend? How did you give him a chance? I'm in a similar situation. I would love advice, things like that. So let's start from, I guess, kind of the beginning. I recently put out on a YouTube channel. It was my YouTube channel when I was doing a moving vlog. I showed my boyfriend, Matt, who is also my ex-boyfriend, Matt. And if you guys are super OG, following from YouTube, following from this podcast, then you will know that my ex-boyfriend is Matt. We broke up in 2019 and we were broken up for over a year and then we got back together at the end of 2020 and we've been together ever since. So it's been, it'll be 4 years at the end of this year that we've been back together. So we've been back together like 3.5 years and it's truly been so wonderful being back with him. Now, there are a few things that I will say in terms of if you want to get back with an ex-boyfriend and how to know that you want to get back with an ex-boyfriend. I am someone that I'll admit I love comfortability. So anytime I would break up with someone, I typically would want to go back into rekindling things with someone else. Meaning, I just like knowing people and it takes me a really, really long time to open up to people, friends, boyfriends, like anything like that. Like I really have like a tougher shell to crack. So once I get comfortable with someone and I let my guard down, like I just tend to want to go back to what is comfortable. And I say that because I'm not saying like that's why I went back with my ex-boyfriend, Matt. That's not at all what I'm saying. But the reason I'm saying that is because when I broke up with, when him and I broke up a while ago, like 5 years ago, however long ago, a while ago, you know, we were broken up for like over a year. I was dating around. I was dating some new people. I was talking with some like ex flings, like I don't know, like ex situationships, like, you know, just like doing like what you do in your young 20s, just like dating, whatever, getting to know people, whatever. And the thing that I always found myself doing was, and it's also important to know that at the time when Matt and I broke up, we never dated longer than 6 months. So we were always just like getting together, and then we would break. Like the thing was, we would fight and then we would break up, and we would just jump ship and be like, oh, well, if we're fighting, then like we clearly shouldn't be together, and we would break up. And I definitely attest that to just being really young and not knowing how to communicate with a partner. And since growing up, like, I'm only 26, I have so much more learning to do, so much more growing to do, and so much more learning about communicating to do. But I will say, when I was younger, like 19, 20, 21, dating, anytime a fight would come up, I would be like, this isn't right. And then I would just like jump ship and be like, I don't want to fight with someone. And that's how I really am. Like, and I know myself a lot better now. And I know that I'm someone that I really don't like confrontations. I really don't like conflict. I really don't like fighting. I really try to avoid that stuff at all costs. So when I would fight with a partner, it was like, this isn't right. This isn't something that I want to do. Let's just end it now so that we don't fight. I no longer do that. Okay. It's no longer something where I'm like, oh, we're fighting. Let's just jump ship and like call it quits. Now it's like, okay, we're fighting because of a problem. So why don't you and I, as partners, work together to overcome the problem? And that's something really big that I've learned. So, anyway, how did I get here? How do I get out? How did I come into that? I think what the issue was is that when I was dating other people, everything that this other person was doing, I would always compare them back to Matt, my current boyfriend, because I dated him in the past, and he was always just so wonderful to me. And we broke up for reasons that you guys know of. I'm not gonna like go into like why we broke up in the past, because honestly, we were kids. It's like we've moved on. It doesn't really matter now. But um whenever we were together, like 95% of our relationship was always just wonderful. And he always made me feel really, really calm, really good, really happy. He really balances me out because I tend to be really high strung, and he is super go with the flow, golden retriever. Just like, he's just a really great guy. And anyone that knows him knows he's just a really, really nice guy, and very hardworking, reliable, just like a really good guy. So I always found myself drawn to him because he calmed me down. He made me feel really happy all the time. He really balanced me out, things like that. So when I was dating other people, I would always just compare them to him. And it would be really little things. Like I remember one time I was dating this guy who I really liked, and he had a great career. He was really nice. He came from a really good family. I liked his brother. Like it was just like a really great setup. Like it could have been like a really great relationship. But I remember one time we were hanging out with a group of friends, me and my one girlfriend, and then him and a bunch of his friends. We were all hanging out, and it was late at night. We were in the city in Philly, and it was like 1 a.m. by the time we all ended up leaving. Me and my girlfriend, we left, and he didn't walk us to my car. And I just remember being like, I don't like that, because Matt, my boyfriend, he would have walked me to my car. Like he just would have done that. And to me, that's important. Another example is I needed like a TV hung or a picture hung, or just like something around my house. Like I just needed like some little house project done. And I asked either who I was dating at the time or who I was talking to at the time, like, would you mind doing this for me? And for some reason they couldn't. And I just remember being like, well, Matt would. Like he would have done something like that for me. And that's something I value. Is like, are you a handy guy? And if you're not, honestly, it's not, it's, I want someone that's handy and someone that can do things for me, things like that. So what I'm getting at is that I would always just compare other people back to him on basic things that I would want in a relationship, such as being walked to a car when it's late at night, or just like the chivalry things. So that was always a really big thing to me. And I always really tried to be like, not everyone is going to be Matt. Like I just have to learn other people, and that's okay. And even what was so crazy is I was very much so over him when I was dating like other people. like he wasn't in my mind like really at all until things would come up and I would be like, oh, but he would do that for me. And that to me is really important and stuff like that. Another thing that's important to say is when him and I broke up, we were fully no contact. And we never spoke during our time apart from one another. We never reached out. We never saw each other. Like it was just full on no contact. And that was really good for me, really good for him. He dated other people. I dated other people. And I think that was good because we got to see what else is out there if we wanted, like you have to get out there and put yourself back out there. And even after, a year and a half, however long it was, we eventually kind of just like got to talking again. I think I think I reached out actually. It was like New Year's. No, it wasn't New Year's. It was like Thanksgiving Eve. And it was COVID year of New Year's or Thanksgiving Eve. And I did kind of want to see him a little bit. So I reached out because the bars closed down and I was like, hey, like, I hope all is well. And this was like the first time we talked. I was like, I hope all is well. I really was hoping to run into you tonight, but because the bars are closed, I guess I won't, but I just like hope you're doing well. I hope your family's doing well. Have like a nice holiday or whatever. And he wrote back. He was like, honestly, I was really hoping to run into you too. But like all is good. Maybe one day we can just like meet up and talk. And then like one thing led to another and we met up and we like talked for a really long time and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into it. That's not what the question is. But what I'm saying is my advice to you is if you are thinking about getting back with an ex, number one is you have to give the relationship time of no contact. And I think that was the biggest thing because we are able to date other people, see if we wanted other things, see if we wanted other people, and really learn about ourselves as single people and really learn about what we wanted from a partner. And then we were able to really talk about, what went wrong in our relationship, what was great, what wasn't great, things like that when we eventually did like reconnect with one another. And I think that was really important to our relationship growth. Another thing is that in between that time, I was going to therapy and I learned a lot about myself and communication and how to properly communicate with a partner and learning that fighting doesn't actually have to be bad. Like fighting can lead to breakthroughs. And him and I really don't fight a lot, really at all, which is really great. But we do communicate. And, he's not always the best at communicating, but we're working on it. And I don't know what guy is amazing at communicating, unless they're like in therapy, which he is not. But we learn more about each other every day. And I think that's really cool. Like we've truly grown up together and that's been really cool. And I've enjoyed it that. I think another thing that's big is the perception of getting back with an ex. And that's why I kept our relationship really private for a really long time. I was really happy in our relationship and I just didn't want to hear shit from other people, if I'm being honest. All of my friends, all of my family were super supportive of me getting back together with Matt because everyone in my life knows Matt, and to know Matt is to love Matt. He is such a kind person, a gentle soul. He's like a gentle giant. He's so helpful. He's just such a stand-up guy, and I mean that. Like to know him is to love him. So everyone in my life already loved him and we're excited to welcome him back into our lives. That was honestly the easiest part, was the integration. I just wanted to keep it offline because people online really aren't always nice and I care about him and I didn't want him to read mean comments about him. So I always kind of kept him offline. I also didn't want people to call me stupid because I know I'm not stupid. I know what I'm doing. I'm a big girl, I can make my own decisions. And if I get hurt, then I get hurt. And that's my own problem. And I'll be okay. Like, I'll deal with it. I'll move on from it. And like, I will be okay. No one ever likes getting their heart broken. But if that has to happen, then that's written in the stars for me to happen. And then I would have learned a lot from this relationship. And that's okay. It's not a failure. I think it's a success, whether this relationship lasts or it doesn't. I'm really happy, but I wanted to keep it offline just so people weren't so mean But actually, since I've been a bit more public about it, I've been getting a lot more love, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting people to be like, "You're so stupid. Why do you get back together with an ex?" Because that's like the notion of like, don't get back with your ex. But sometimes people just need to grow up. And sometimes, people make mistakes. And I would hate for a mistake to be held over my head 5 years later when, you know, you can move on from it and you can talk through things. And like my mom and I were talking about this the other day. I'm someone, I like to forgive. I don't like to hold grudges. I really don't. I like to forgive. I like to move on. I don't always forget, but I do like to forgive. And yeah, I don't have beef with like anyone that I can think of. And if I do, it's like one-sided because I really I have love in my heart for everyone. So anyway, moving on from that. I just wanted to keep it offline just so that we could protect our relationship and our peace and our happiness. But it's been, almost 4 years now. And I'm like, so what if I show him I'm really happy and he's thriving and he's happy and our relationship is good. So it is weird talking about online. I don't love talking about my relationship online. That's why I always say my boyfriend, da 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 da. But yeah, that's that. So if you're in a similar situation and you want to get back together with your ex, I think number one, ask yourself, why are you getting back together with your ex? Is there what's the intention behind getting back together with them? Is it going to be good for you? Is it going to be good for your ex? And have you given the relationship time to rest and to mourn and to actually be done? And if you have and you still feel like it's something that you want to have, then try it out, But just know that, like anything, it could end with you not being together forever, and that's okay. But you'll get through that. Like, you're strong enough to get through any heartbreak if it happens. And if not, the alternative is you get married and you have a happily ever after. So, yeah, if you're in a similar situation, just make sure that you genuinely want to. The time has passed and you guys really talk about why it didn't work the first time or the second time or the third time or however many times you guys are getting back together. But yeah, give it time. And people can be really judgmental and really mean about relationship choices. So don't let others get in your head because it's your life, not theirs. And find the friends that are supportive and stick with those friends. But that's my advice. Okay. Let's do 2 more. I'm getting a lot of questions about how to become a spin instructor, what's it like opening a studio. So I want to recommend the last Intrusive Thoughts episode that I put out with Holland Scattergood. She is a spin instructor and studio owner of Nick's Cycle and Fitness in Arizona. We talk all about becoming a spin instructor, owning a spin studio, and all of that. So definitely go listen to that episode if you guys are interested. But in addition to that, I'm also getting a lot of questions of like, do you think you're going to have more Stride locations? I think I'm tapped out. I really do. For me personally, it's a lot to have 4. I have 1 back in the suburbs, 3 down at the Jersey Shore, and it's a lot for me. It really, really is. So I think I'm tapped out. The only way that I would do more is if someone else were to like open it up and we did like a licensing or a franchising sort of deal, or if I ever sold the business one day and the new owner then just like opened up a ton more. But I don't think I personally will be opening up anymore. It's just kind of a lot. I'm at capacity and I still have other things. Like this podcast is a full-time job. Stride is like a full-time job. Like I'm busy, you know what I mean? Like I'm starting on YouTube again, so I'm trying to just pick back up on YouTube again. So I don't see myself opening up anymore, but I guess I'll never say never. But those are the 2 ways that I would open more, is if it was like a franchising sort of deal, or if I sold the business and the new owner opened up a few more locations. That's how. But that's really all. Okay. Let's do one more. a lot of like relationship questions about like how do you adjust or maintain your routine to wellness um, with a partner that isn't into the same thing. And I think that is a good one to end on. So let's talk about that. If you're in a relationship and your partner isn't into like health, fitness, wellness like you are, my advice to you is don't stop doing what you're doing just because they're not into it. You have to keep living your life, and your life may inspire them to get into their own journey of their own. And that is beautiful and that is wonderful. And I hope that happens for you. But you can't stop living just because you are in a relationship and your partner doesn't do the same thing as you. For me, I found that I'm a really good girlfriend when I'm taking care of myself. And my boyfriend is just an addition to me when I'm at my best self. It's the times that I'm neglecting myself and I'm putting a lot of my worth into his life, right? Like when he's not doing well, like he struggles with depression, my boyfriend does. So when when he's struggling and he has like, depression, well, I shouldn't say, and I shouldn't generalize depression. His depression goes in waves where he'll be, you know, I use the word fine very lightly, but he'll be better, meaning he's happy. It's not affecting him. It's still there, but it's not affecting him. And then he'll have a few days where he gets pretty low. And in those days when he's pretty low, I try to make everything better. And that's not something that I can do. Like I can't save the day when his depression hits him because it's something that he has to work through. But what I can do in those instances is focus on making sure that I'm still my best self so that I can support him when he needs the support and vice versa. So separately, him and I are both as strong as we can be. I do things that I know make me feel really good, such as yoga, working out, eating well, getting enough sleep, and he does things that he knows are really good for him. He loves being outside. Like when he's outside working, he's totally thriving. He loves that. When he has a stable like routine structure, he tends to thrive a lot more. He's really, really solid in that. So our routines don't always line up and they don't mesh. They actually very rarely do. Like I'm such a morning person. He is such a night owl. Like he would rather stay up really late at night and I'd rather wake up really early in the morning. So we're very different in those respects. But when he does the things that make him feel really good and I do the things that I make me feel really good, we show up better in our relationship to one another. So continue doing the things that make you feel your best, whether that's a wellness routine or workout routine or eating well, even if he doesn't eat the same way that you do or work out the same way that you do. It will help you show up better as a girlfriend and as a partner to your partner. And like I said in the beginning, it might even inspire him to pick up some of your good habits and good traits and implement them into his life. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to abandon your self-identity and your independence to be with someone else. I think a relationship that is supportive and loving and thriving allows you to be exactly as you are and your partner just accepts it. And I think that's what's really great about ours is he lets me be me 100% of myself at all times. And like, he literally never gets mad at me about anything. And I let him be him. And I don't try to change him. I love him for who he is and I accept him for who he is. And I'm here to support him however he needs support. And it's reciprocated. So staying independent in your relationship is so important because I think it just builds a stronger relationship. So keep on having your routines and your skincare and going to sleep when you want and things like that. And it will make your relationship better as a whole. That's what I think anyway. But who am I to say? I just know my relationship and every relationship is different. So take this with a grain of salt. Okay, guys. that's where I'm going to end today's Q&A. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys for listening to this bonus episode of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. Be sure to rate this 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe on wherever you guys are listening to this podcast. And on Monday, I have a very special guest coming on for the next installment of Intrusive Thoughts, and I hope you guys love it. And I'm so excited to show you guys and share with you guys what the episode is. So have a great Thursday. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys all on Monday. Bye, guys.